Three, two, one. Newsflash. Welcome to another segment of Out of the Abyss, Tales from the Great Sage. We just got a news flash about a potential peril facing our heroes as they advance through the abyss, trying to save the realms and the Underdark. If we recall from our last news report, our heroes had found enough information in Graven Hollow to be able to put together the basic outline of the plot. Some demons were freed from the abyss thanks to a spell that was cast by the Archmage of Menzoberranzan, engineered through an evil plot by the demoness Lolth, but they didn't have all the information they needed. Apparently there was more, and that more could be found in Araj, where the ex-Archmage, Vivizir, Devere, promised to tell them all they needed to know to deal with the threat. Given that they had been tasked by Gauntly Grimm's king, Braenor, to go perform this heroic endeavor, they took their swords, their spells, and their wits and proceeded to go through the Underdark, following one of the great thoroughfares. Now, just because it's not immediately obvious to many of our listeners and viewers, the Underdark is not a flat terrain. There are tunnels and passageways, and each one of those tunnels and passageways are highly prized things. You can't just go along any line to Gauntly Grim or to Neverlight Grove. You have to go through these tunnels and passageways that have been mapped out, and in some cases are the only ways that exist. Why is this important? Because not only are they passageways, but they're great places to ambush. And here's the news flash. There has been a troglodyte sighting, infestation along the way to Araj. Our heroes were first attacked by a small group of troglodytes. Usually that's not too worrisome. They're all over the place. But there have been repeated attacks, and now we're concerned that they've entered a part of the thoroughfare to Araj that is infested with troglodytes. Just to remind you, how do troglodytes attack? They perform what's known as a swarm attack. So initially one will appear, will get you distracted, will cause you to stop, and then 5 more will appear out of the shadows and try to destroy you. If that fails, they will retreat and regroup and then perform another swarm attack, and yet another swarm attack, and yet another swarm attack in a series of waves. How can they do this? Well, what they do is they will basically create ambush points in caverns along a thoroughfare. So if you imagine our heroes are trying to get through this area to Araj, what happens is that the troglodytes will have infested large numbers of the points along here and will keep attacking the heroes until they're dead and troglodyte food, or when they decide that the total number of deaths on the part of the troglodytes has exceeded some critical threshold. Because troglodytes are like rats and breed like crazy, that's a large number of troglodytes. Our heroes will have to be careful, or they may find themselves dead and eaten alive, or partially alive. The troglodytes don't really cook their food. Once you're no longer able to fight back, they start chewing. It's kind of gross. Anyway, we'll be watching this unfolding events, and our man on the ground will give us the information we need. Here's looking at you, Y.